All right, everybody, welcome back to the second episode of the Team Viper podcast. Today, we only have two guests or two people. We're joined once again by James or Mercy. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. All right, so let's just dive into it. I guess the first thing is the podcast will now be on SoundCloud. So some of you guys are listening to this on SoundCloud right now. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow us on there. And yeah, we're trying to make this a weekly thing every single Thursday, and we have achieved the goal so far. So make sure you stay on it. Also, if you want to come on the podcast once a week, we're going to have a special guest come on and give us their opinion about a topic, and you'll get to promote yourself as well. So that's all on the Twitter, and we'll put it on the YouTube link as well, so you can check that out. All right, so let's just get into it. The first topic, the League of Legends new era, they are calling it. All these huge organizations. One of the reasons that we actually started Team Viper was to we feel the amateur scene is running out. I'm sure people that know our story are kind of feeling like we're a dead record, a broken record on this. But anyways, so 100 Thieves, which is the Cavs, Nate Shot's team, Golden State Warriors called the Golden Guardians, Optic, TSM, Cloud9, Counterlogic Gaming, Echo Fox, Team Liquid. And the list goes on. What's your thoughts, James, on these huge signings and kind of where esports is going into this, franchise type of stuff now?
Definitely the point of signing these major teams is to get more publicity for their sports, and also it's a great investment. Yeah. They're going to get a huge return regardless of how they place, just due to marketing. There's no way they're not going to lose any investment. Just the amount of marketing off these things, from sports players who are seeing these esports and esports players who are finding out more about sports, and the marketing on commercials, TV, it's just going to be huge. It's going to help grow substantially to the scene.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be good for esports. I guess the only real concern about this is the amateur teams and stuff that, I don't even know what the buy-in for this one was. We know Overwatch was like 20-something million, 22 million, I believe. I mean, are you shocked with the lineup that you see there? Like we said, are you shocked with the lineup of these teams?
Not really. I mean, most of those teams are pretty big franchises, so it's not shocking to see them, especially the investors that are going along with them. It's kind of the usual.
So, do you have any? I guess the question is, do you have any concerns? How this could negatively affect esports besides, like the amateur owners type of thing? Do you have any concerns like that?
Not overly. I feel like it's going to be mostly a positive for the pro scene. It's going to help grow the industry more.
Yeah, definitely.
It could be negative for amateurs as well, though. It's going to turn out to be.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts too. It's good for the scene. It's good for esports. Finally, we're getting into the thing where we're going to be televised a lot more often. The Rocket League TV league that they're trying to push out, which I think will be successful, seeing that it's basically soccer video games. So I don't think people have a hard time watching that. And we'll kind of get into a little bit more of TV stuff in our later topics of esports that we feel do or don't work. But until then, the Esports Industry Awards, Optic Gaming wins Team of the Year, Dr. Disrespect, Streamer of the Year, Formula 1 2 titles, though I think it was Esports Player of the Year and Esports FPS Player of the Year. I'm not too sure on those. What's your thoughts, let's say first off, on Optic Team of the Year? Are you surprised, shocked?
I'm not surprised because of their interactive fan base. If it was off a judge panel, I feel like it wouldn't have gone to them.
I think it was like fan voted, right?
Yeah, they are definitely up there. I can't deny it. Like, they're one of the top teams, but I feel like if it was straight judges, it wouldn't have been Optic.
Who do you think it would have been then if it was, let's say, like anybody in the industry?
I feel like it would have most likely be Envy.
Envy, yeah.
They're the most winningest win org out there, and one of the larger ones. I feel like they deserved it more than Optic.
Okay. And yeah, I agree. Like, it could have went either way. Optic's fan base is just so big, they're not going to lose stuff like this. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they went into that knowing they already won, to be quite honest. Hitch even won Videographer of the Year. I mean, do you think it's kind of biased in that sense where basically whoever is the bigger fan base is going to win? Or do you think it's kind of another fact of rewarding them for building those big fan bases?
I mean, it's half and half. I mean, a videographer more, it should be based solely off the content. It shouldn't say who they are. It should show videos and you vote on the video.
Yeah.
That
Well,
way
yeah, I
it's
think
just
they would probably know, like, oh, that's Hitch, unless they had to make
that.
like a certain
Well,
project.
they make a project just for the voting.
Yeah.
Same thing with photographers. It should be photos just for the voting. So that way it can't be biased. I mean, teams and players is going to be regardless, but videographers and photographers, journalists, even they should have to write a paper.
Yeah, I don't. Was there even a journalist? I don't know if there was even a journalist.
I think there was.
Probably. Let's be honest. I never got to watch the event, but
yeah, I missed it as well.
What's your thoughts on the Dr. Disrespect then winning Streamer of the Year?
That's well deserved.
Yeah, I honestly like. I don't want to be biased, but I honestly don't think anyone else deserved it. So
no, there was.
Like he's doing stuff that no one has ever thought of, and if anyone tries to copy him, they're not even close to as successful. And I guess formal FPS Player of the Year. What do you think of that? I mean, we had it coming. Honestly, I think.
I agree with it in senses. It kind of depends what it's based off. If it's based off of raw gun skill, then it's him all the way. If it's based off knowledge of the game, all that kind of stuff, then she's still up there, but it's iffy then. There could be a few other players.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's based on. Let's say like formal doesn't exist. Who would you give it to?
For just IW season,
well, it could even be like FPS. It could even be.
Oh, it could be any game.
I think like even Counter-Strike and stuff too, right? Like
it's kind of. It was console.
Oh, it was only console. Okay, so like Gears of War, Halo, like anybody. Yeah.
If it was strictly based off the year.
Yeah.
I still think a COD player takes because there's not enough events to really get a good feel for any other esport.
Yeah, that's true. Test it.
But I don't know. I feel like Slash had a hell of a year too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't even know who the second, running up was, but
yeah, they don't disclose that.
Yeah, so yeah, eSports Industry Awards, nice little event. Doesn't mean anything. I don't know. You decide. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It'd be nice. Of course, it's nice to get recognition for all the hard work and dedication you put in, but it kind of seems like people really care about it or they don't care.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? Do you really care about it? Like, let's say like Team Viper got invited, you'd probably care a lot more, right? Because you're actually a part of it. But like on the outside right now, what do you think?
I mean, it's any other sports award. It shows recognition for certain players, but it's not going to change how they play. It's not going to change how other people think of them. They already know like Formal's example. They know Formal's a good player. Him winning Player of the Year isn't going to make him shit. Oh shit, Formal's even better now. He's still the same guy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just it's a stigma pretty much.
All right. So yeah, I think I agree with all your points. All right. So now a little bit more of a, I guess, I don't know how you say it, personal type of thing. Oh, like hear that voice crack. Insane Labs partnership. We're now sponsored with Insane Labs. To be quite honest, we want to be, as transparent as we can. They just offered us a better deal than Rogue. We thank Rogue Energy for everything they did for, me personally. Weren't you sponsored by Rogue too before?
Yeah, Rogue was too.
Yeah, great company. All around great guys. We want to, give them the recognition for that. But yeah, we're moving on to Insane Labs now. Code Viper, use your code for that. I don't know what the percentage off is right now. I know what it's going to be relatively soon if we meet our goals, which I have no doubt in my mind we won't. But yeah, Insane Labs partnership, check them out. I'm sure most of you already know who they are. It's a huge deal for us, and it's going to bring a lot of opportunities to Team Viper, including, the ability to sign pro teams and such. So thank you very much to Insane Labs for the deal, and make sure you guys all go support them and maybe even tell them Team Viper sent you. All right, so now we're getting to our last topic here. These are short podcasts. I don't know if people like that or hate that. Please let us know. So the PUBG/H1Z1 scene, a lot of people call it, esports that aren't going to stick around. They're kind of, like you said, short-term investments. So what's your thoughts on, let's just categorize them both as one, because they're both, I know they have their differences, and don't be afraid to compare them, but like on the battle royale esports scene type of deal. What's your thoughts on that so far?
It's a good scene. It's an entertaining scene. I love the aspect of teams having to fight multiple teams. It's not just it's team versus team. It's
Yeah.
There's a lot more variables with that way. You don't have to worry about just one set of guys. You have to worry about multiples. I also like the fact that it forces you to fight. Per se. You can't just there's always action happening.
All right.
There's never really a stale moment because it's constantly grouping together.
Well, I mean, the thing about that is, yeah, there's action when they meet, but what's your thoughts on where, the first hour is just them avoiding people, hiding from each other? Obviously it's before the game, gathering resources and stuff, but the first hour, people will call it, like when H1Z1 was on TV, some people said it was one of the most boring esports events I ever watched because it was just an hour of people gathering stuff and then finally killing each other.
It can be boring, but definitely I think the environment with it as well. If you could hear comms, they'd be more entertaining as well. But just the setup, it's a setup. It's like watching the first 10 seconds of a search and destroy. It's gonna be nothing's happening.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think as like an esport, it's gonna last? It's gonna stay more than, let's say, like even the end of this year? We'll say like 2018, not like 2017, since it's almost over.
I say they're gonna be relevant in 2 years.
You don't think they're gonna be relevant in 2 years?
No, it's gonna be over in a few years, I think.
And what do you think will take its place? Is it going to be a new esport? Is it going to be the new leagues that are starting up, like Overwatch, League of Legends, maybe even Call of Duty? What do you think is going to take it over?
Honestly, that's up in the air. I just see this fizzling out more.
Right. So do you think it might still be around, but just not as big of a deal? Where
Yeah, it's just gonna everyone's gonna lose interest.
All right, so it's kind of gonna be like Halo in a sense. As sad as that is to say, where it was really popular, big sponsorships, and then it just flatted out.
Yeah, it fizzles out. Bigger things come along, take its place.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I don't understand why. Like we and James were talking earlier before the podcast started. I don't understand why big teams like Optic and stuff are getting in. James's thought was maybe short-term investment, make some quick money, get out of the scene while it's still relevant, still big, get feed off the juice. I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but I don't know. I mean, again, it's an interesting scene, and I don't think it's gonna last personally. I would never invest in it to be honest, but I mean, yeah, let them do what they want. I mean, it's not my money, so I don't care. All right. So yeah, that's basically the end of the podcast. Again, these are kind of 12 minutes, 13-minute podcasts, a nice short. Maybe you're listening to this on the way to work. Maybe keep your eyes on the road, hand on the wheel, 10 and 2. It's I mean, yeah, do you got anything else to say, James? Any final comments, topics?
Nothing really.
All right. Well, yeah, if you guys like the podcast, be sure to leave a like on it. Again, you can come on the podcast and be one of our special guests. We're going to start that starting next week. Also, let's say you're, an esports enthusiast, owner, something like that. You want to come on the podcast, promote your brand. We don't really care. You know what I mean? We're just looking for some people with opinion that we can talk about. If you got any ideas for topics, put that below. And ultimately, if you could, share the podcast with your friends. Tell your friends, hey, look at this guy Avery. He's kind of ugly, but he's got a decent opinion, I'd say. James carries the show. I would say so too. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it. Stay tuned for some more Team Viper news. We're working on some big deals. Insane Labs is literally the stone in the lake, if you will. We haven't even filled the lake up with the water yet. That was a terrible analogy.
That was awful.
Where we just found the plot of land where we're going to build our house, and soon we're digging out the basement, okay? We'll say that.
That's awful, too. I'm a carpenter. That is not a good analogy.
The snake is just coming out of the egg, baby.
Sure.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow James and I, and ultimately follow Team Viper. Make sure you follow Team Viper on everything. At Twitter, Team Viper LLC, YouTube, Team Viper. I don't know if it's LLC, but search Team Viper, Instagram, Team Viper HQ. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast next Thursday. Bye-bye.